digestion and absorption of lipids. Okay, so this can be a 5-mark question. Okay, it can be asked in 5 marks. Digestion and absorption of lipids. Okay, so first you have to write what are the dietary lipids. You have to start with what are the dietary lipids. Okay, name them. What are the dietary lipids? Acylglycerol, cholesterol esters, acylglycerol, cholesterol esters, and phospholipids. Okay, so these are the dietary lipids. Okay, so always start with what are the dietary lipids. Okay, next, then you have to go for where and all the digestion of the lipids will take place. Okay, so in our body, where and all the digestion of lipids takes place. Okay, so digestion of lipids takes place at 3 sites. Okay, so they are oral cavity. Okay, oral cavity has a role in digestion of lipids. Stomach and intestine. Okay, so at these 3 sites, we are going to have digestion of lipids. Okay, so in the oral cavity, the enzyme involved in digestion of lipids will be lingual lipase. Okay, so it is lingual lipase in oral cavity. Okay, in the stomach, the enzyme that digests the lipid are called as gastric lipase. Okay, is over in the stomach, all the lipids will be going to the intestine. In the intestine, there are roles of 2 compounds. One is the bile secretions. The other one is the pancreatic secretions. So both are going to have a role in the digestion of lipids. Okay, bile and pancreatic secretion. Bile, they will be containing the bile salts mainly. Okay, they'll containing the bile salts and a minimal amount of phospholipids. Okay, bile secretion, they'll be containing bile salts and phospholipids. Whereas pancreatic secretion, they are going to contain all the enzymes that are going to act on your lipids. Okay, so pancreatic secretion mainly contains the enzyme that acts on your lipids. So what are the enzymes? We have phospholipase, cholesterol esterase, and pancreatic lipase. Okay, so for 3 dietary lipids, we have 3 enzymes. So after digestion in the stomach, the lipid comes to the intestine. Okay, the lipid comes to the intestine. Okay, so now we have the lipids. Okay, so this is our intestinal cells. Okay, so this is our intestinal cell. This is the intestinal lumen where we have the lipids. Okay, so we can see all the lipids are very bigger in size. Okay, they are bigger lipid droplets. To act on these lipid droplets, it is very tough for our enzymes. Plus, the surface area is very bigger. Okay, so if we are decreasing the surface area, okay, if we are cutting down these lipid droplets, then it becomes very easy for the enzymes to digest. Okay, so the first action or the first thing that happens in the intestine will be emulsification. Okay, it is called as emulsification. So,
by which bigger lipid droplets are broken down into smaller lipid droplets.
First, emulsification happens, which is by the bile salts. This is important, you have to remember. So, one of the function of bile salt is emulsification. Okay, once emulsification is over, This is acted upon by all these three enzymes. Okay, first one emulsification nadandrom. Then these lipids are acted upon by these enzymes. Okay. So first, what are the dietary lipids? We have triacylglycerol, then we have cholesterol esters, and then we have phospholipids. Okay, so these are the dietary lipids we have. So after emulsification, these lipids will be acted upon by the enzymes from pancreatic secretion. Okay, so triacylglycerol are acted upon by pancreatic lipase. Okay, they are acted upon by pancreatic lipase, triacylglycerol. Okay, so triacylglycerol, only one fatty acid from the third position. It will be cleaved to form diacylglycerol plus fatty acid. Okay, so first step, only one fatty acid will be cleaved to form diacylglycerol plus fatty acid. Okay, again, this diacylglycerol is again acted upon by the pancreatic lipase. It is again acted upon by the pancreatic lipase to form monoacylglycerol plus fatty acid. Okay, this monoacylglycerol can be again acted upon by the pancreatic lipase to form glycerol and fatty acid, but that is very minimal. Okay, so mostly the monoacylglycerol stays. Okay, adukku mela glycerol alavukku and the level of digestion ku pogadu. Okay, it stays with monoacylglycerol. Okay, cholesterol ester, it is acted upon by the enzyme cholesterol esterase. Okay, to form cholesterol plus fatty acid. Cholesterol ester is nothing but cholesterol kuda or fatty acid attach ayirundna, it is called as cholesterol esterase. Okay, sorry, cholesterol ester. So cholesterol ester acted upon by cholesterol esterase. Easy, you can remember easily what is the enzyme. Cholesterol plus fatty acid. Then phospholipids. The enzyme will be phospholipase. The enzyme will be phospholipase. Easily you can remember again. Okay, so phospholipids acted upon by phospholipase to form lysophospholipid plus fatty acid. Lysophospholipid plus fatty acid. Okay, so this is the digestion part. Okay, so from lingual lipase, then it goes to the stomach where the gastric lipase will have minimal digestion occurs, which will be coming to the intestine. In the intestine, first they will undergo emulsification. Once emulsification happens, it will be digested by the enzymes, the respective enzymes. And we have the products of lipid digestion. So once the digestion is over, write this. Okay, the products of lipid digestion are monoacylglycerol, fatty acids, cholesterol, and lysophospholipid. Okay, so next we are going into absorption of lipids. இப்போ வரைக்கும் நம்ம digestion தான் முடிச்சிருக்கோம். Okay, so next we are going into the absorption of lipids. How these are going to get absorbed into the body. Clear? Okay. So let us take, this is the intestinal lumen. Okay, so this is your intestinal cell. Okay, intestinal cell. So we have the products, that is fatty acid, monoacylglycerol, cholesterol, and lysophospholipid. These are the products of lipid digestion. Okay, so all your, just a moment. So all your lipids, okay, has to enter the intestinal cell, otherwise the mucosal cell. From the mucosal cell, they should get into the capillaries. That is called as absorption. Okay, so these lipids, first they should enter the intestinal cell and then into the capillaries. Okay, what are biomembranes? The intestinal cell, it is an intestinal cell. So it should have a plasma membrane, right? So what happens is, all your intestinal cells, the intestinal lumen are lined by mucosal membrane. Okay, we have a thick mucus that lines your intestinal lumen. So this intestinal mucosal membrane, the mucosa of intestinal lumen, is aqueous in nature, which cannot be crossed by your lipids. Okay, so in the mucus layer, ungaloda lipids nala cross panna mudiyadhu. Okay, so for that only we have another structure called as mycellae. Okay, we have a structure called as mycellae. Mycellae are spherical particles with a hydrophilic exterior and a hydrophobic interior core. Okay, so this is the structure of mycellae. Okay, so it has polar heads and non-polar tails, and you can see hydrophilic exterior and a hydrophobic interior core. And for the formation of mycellae, again, what you need is bile salts. Okay, so bile salts are required for the absorption of lipids also, that you have to remember. Bile salts are required for the absorption of lipids also. Idhukku munadi nama emulsification la bile salts paathom. Same way absorption liyum bile salts thevapadu. Clear? So what happens here? These mycellae will be formed. Okay, these mycellae will be formed, and inside all your lipids will be there. Okay, mycellae will be formed and all these lipids will be enclosed inside the mycellae. Okay, and these mycellae will cross this mucosal layer and they get arranged near your intestinal cell membrane. Okay, so in the mycellae oda vel enna, it should cross the mucosal layer. Ada cross pandradhukku mattum dhaan lipids ku mycellae vedum, and they get arranged near your intestinal cell membrane, from where all your lipids gets passively diffused into the intestinal cell. Okay, inge kitta arrange agum, from where they get passively diffused into the intestinal cell. So in the intestinal cell, now we have all our lipids. So in the intestinal cell, we have now the fatty acids, monoacylglycerol, lysophospholipid, and cholesterol. Okay, but in our body, what we are going to do? We are going to store them. Okay, all the lipids we are going to store in the adipose tissue, or we need them for energy production. Okay, for all those things, we don't require these products. In the products, body. We require only triacylglycerol, cholesterol esters, and phospholipid. They have function in our body, not these products. Okay, just in the digestion, absorb, but they don't have any function in our body. We require these three only. Okay, so what happens? Again, your fatty acid combines with monoacylglycerol to form triacylglycerol. Fatty acid combines with cholesterol to form cholesterol ester. Fatty acid combined with your lysophospholipid to form phospholipid. This is called as re-esterification process. It is getting re-esterified. Tirpi fatty acid attach. Okay, this is called as re-esterification. Okay, so once they get absorbed into the intestinal cell, re-esterification of all the lipids happens, and there will be formation of triacylglycerol, cholesterol ester, and phospholipids. Okay, once re-esterification is over, they get incorporated into a spherical structure, again called as chylomicrons. Okay, so they get incorporated into chylomicrons. These chylomicrons are then secreted into lymphatic duct. they get secreted into lymphatic duct. Clear, ma? Okay, so this is your absorption of